before I start, I'm going to have one of the sisters upstairs collect all the homeworks and give it to me so you can bring to me so I can start marking them or grading them in the back over there. Okay. We start? No. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعد. This is a continuation of the series of classes that we started yesterday, going over page by page the famous book Al-Nuraniyah. Alhamdulillah, we covered half of the Arabic alphabet yesterday, and there was a homework. Given to the people to complete for today's class. That brings me to to some housekeeping issues. The homework was supposed to be posted on Google Classroom. For those who did not do that or who found difficulty in posting their homework on Google Classroom, I will be sitting in the back. You can bring your homework that you did or you did not post on Google Classroom to me in the back. I will grade them as the class continues. Likewise, for the sisters who have their homeworks done physically in the book, Gateway Book 1, they can pass it down to one of the sisters who can bring it down to Brother Abdul Malik for grading also. The books, whoever doesn't have the book, which are the two books, which are the pamphlet Al-Nuraniyah and the Gateway to Arabic Book 1, whoever doesn't have it can get them at the Dawah Center, although I'm told that it won't be till Wednesday before we get the other one, which is the Gateway to Arabic. But as far as the Nuraniyah, that is still available in the small or big version, that can be obtained at the Dawah Center. I will hand over the mic now to our Shaykh Muhammad Nasir for continuation of the lessons from where we stopped yesterday.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi amma ba'd. We continue with our lesson, and today we're going to be completing lesson number 1. And as we said, this is a 10-week course. So every weekend, we're going to be continuing a specific chapter or chapters. It's set up and designed in a way by 10 weeks, you should have all the tools necessary to read the Qur'an properly. So, another thing that is important to mention is that the homework is very important. It's not enough to study 2 hours a week. You come to class, we give you the tools, you implement them with the homeworks. Is that clear? Doing the homeworks is very important. Studying every day, putting a little bit of time, just practicing what we're going over. So this week, we're doing the letters. Next weekend, we're going to be doing combining and conjoining letters, formulating words. The weekend after that, we're doing vowels and double vowels. The weekend after that, we're going to the med and the lean. The weekend after that, we're going to sukoon, then shadda. So every weekend is very important. Every class is very important. Is that clear? No. So try not to be absent and do the homeworks. So today we're going to be going over the letters, and as we said, not only are we going over the letters, but how to pronounce them properly and where they come from. Pronouncing the letters properly is very important when you read the Qur'an, because as we said, if you're unable to properly pronounce the letters, then you'll be unable to pronounce the words of the Qur'an. Because the letters to a word are like the blocks to a building. Is that clear? And when you're reading the Qur'an, you're going to want to give every letter its proper right. Naam, you want to give every letter its proper right when you recite and you read. And that's how you strive for perfection, when you know where the letter comes from, how to pronounce them properly. Yesterday we went over the first half. We're going to review them quickly, and then we're going to complete the second half. طيب? Let's do the first line first. Repeat after me. And again, why do we keep doing repetition? What are we doing? Training the tongue. It's a muscle. The more we train it, the more proficient it becomes. طيب? Alif. Alif. Ba. 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 Ta. 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 Tha. 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 Jim. 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 Back to alif. 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 Remember, be careful from saying alif, not alif. Alif. And remember, in the Arabic language, each letter, you can spell it. That's the beauty of the Arabic language. You can spell each letter. How do you spell the word alif? Hamza, lam, fa. How do you spell the letter ba? Ba, alif. That's why we say ba. Why do we extend it? Because there's a med in the letter ba. Is that clear? Naam. Ba. 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 Ta. 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 Tha. Tha. Remember, the tip of the tongue should be between the top and bottom teeth. Ath. Ath. Tha. Jim. Aj. Aj. The middle of the tongue should be going up towards the palate. Aj. Jim. Naam. So where does the alif come from? At the very bottom of the throat. Where does the ba come from? The lips. Ab. Ab. And be careful saying abba, not abba, ab. It's a light letter. Where does the ta come from? At. At. Tip of the tongue's behind the two front teeth. At. Where does the tha come from? At. The tip of the tongue's between the top and bottom. At. Where does the jim come from? Aj. The middle of the tongue is touching the palate. Aj. It comes from the middle of the tongue. Next line. Ha. 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 Remember, be careful from saying ha. A common mistake us English speakers make, we say ha, not ha. 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 Where does the ha come from? Middle of the throat. Ah. Ha. Kha. 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 Where does the kha come from? Top of the throat. Dal. 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 Be careful from saying dal, not dal. There's a med in there. How do you spell the letter dal? Dal, alif, lam. So there's a med. Dal. And be careful saying dal, not dal. 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 Next letter. Dal. 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 What is the difference between dal and dal? Dal, the one without a dot, where does it come from? Tip of the tongue, behind the two front teeth. Da, da, ad, ad. Now dal, the one with a dot, where does that come from? The tip of the tongue is between the top and bottom. Ad. See the difference? The one without a dot is dal. The one with a dot is dal. The one without a dot is dal. The one with a dot is dal. Do we see the difference?
Yeah.
No. Next, ra. 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 And be careful from saying raw, not raw. The tip of the tongue should be touching the palate. and rolling a little bit. Ra, ra. And we said the letter ra, sometimes it's heavy and sometimes it's light. When is it heavy and when is it light? Does anyone remember? If it has a fatha and a dhamma, it's a heavy ra. Ra. When it has a kasra, it's light. Ra or ri. Ri. You see that? Ri. Ri. It's like ra. You see how the back of the tongue is going upwards towards the palate? That's what makes it heavy. So the letter ra, when it has a fatha or a dhamma, it's mufakham, it's heavy. When it has a kasra, it's muraqqaq, it's light. Za. 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 Sin. 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 Sheen. 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 Sod. 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 Remember, the sod is a heavy letter, and the tongue should be flat behind the bottom. The tip should be behind the top, behind the bottom teeth, and the back should be going up. It's a heavy letter. It's mufakham. Sod. And there's a qalqala in sod. How do you spell sod? Sod, alif, dal. That dal has a qalqala. It's a bouncing letter. Sod. Dad. 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 So this is half of the alphabet. We're done with this. Now we're going to the other half. طيب. Bismillah. Line number 4. Ta. 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 Be careful saying ta, not ta. Ta. Shaytan. Shaytan. Ata. Ita. Uta. Where does the ta come from? Ata. Where does it come from? Who can tell me? The tip of the tongue is behind 2 front teeth. Ata. Ta. Ta. Va. 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 So the one with a dot is va. The one without a dot is ta. The one with a dot is what? Va. The tip of the tongue is between the top and bottom teeth. Va. The one without a dot is ta. Do we see the difference? Alright, which one has a dot? No. I'm going to say it and you tell me. Which one has a dot? Ta. Does that have a dot or no dot? No dot? I'm going to say it again. Ta. Does that have a dot or no dot? No dot. Va. Does that have a dot? Nah, that one has a dot. Is that clear? We see the difference? They're very similar, but at the same time, they're quite opposite. Similar, but not similar at the same time. طيب, next. Ayn. 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 And the ayn, be careful saying ayn, not ayn. Ayn. Very middle of the throat. Ayn. 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 Let's go back to the beginning of the line. Ta. Va. Ayn. Ghayn. 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 The ghayn, a common mistake. First of all, where does the ghayn come from? Top of the throat. Same makhraj, at the top of the throat. What other letter comes from the top of the throat? The kha. A common mistake people make when it comes to the ghayn is they give it a click. They say qayn. Qayn. With ghayn, there's no click. Naam? They say ghayril maqdubi. Maq. Is that correct or no? Is it maq or magh? Magh. There's no click. Is that clear? When you click, when the back of the tongue is clicking the palate, you turn it into a qaf. Is that clear? So it's not qayn, it's ghayn. And ghayn is a heavy letter. So it's not ghayn, ghayn. Do we see the difference between ghayn and ghayn? Which one is heavy? Ghayn or ghayn? Ghayn. Naam. Ghain. Ghain. And the ghain, the flow should be able, for example, you should be able to say al continuously. Al, that's the ghain. Because there's no click. Al, once you click, aqa, you just turn into a qaf. Is that clear? Naam. Ain. Ghain. Fa. 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 Where does the fa come from? The two front teeth touches the bottom lip. F. F. Fa. You keep saying fa, not fa. Fa. I'm going to reread the same line, alright? Ta. Dha. Ain. Ghain. Fa. Ta. Dha. Ain. Ghain. Fa. Next line. Qaf. 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 Say aqa. Aqa. Who can tell me where the qaf comes from? Test it. Aqa. Back of the throat? Close. Top of the palate? Yeah, what touches the palate? No. The back of the tongue clicks with the soft part of the palate. Aqa. And it's a heavy letter. So it's not aqa, aqa. We see that? Qaf. Qaf. And also when we say the letter qaf, be careful from saying qaf, not qaf. Qaf. It has a what? It has a med in it. Kaf. 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 Qaf. Kaf. Qaf. Kaf. The kaf, it's very, very close to the qaf. Is that clear? Ak. Say ak. Aqa. You see how it's very close or no? Both of them, the back of the tongue is touching the palate. However, the kaf is a light letter and the qaf is a heavy letter. Iyaka. Iyaka. Not iyaka. The kaf is never heavy. Kaf. Kaf. Lam. Lam. And the lam becomes saying lam, not lamb. Lam. Lam. Mim. Mim. Noon. Noon. Wow. Wow. You can't say wow, not wow. Wow. Ha. 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 Where does the ha come from? Ah. Say ah. Ah. From the very bottom of the throat. You see it? What other letter comes from the bottom of the throat? Who remembers? The Hamza. Naam, ahsant. Hamza. Hamza. Ya. Ya. Let's go back to the beginning. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Alif. 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 Ba. Ta. Tha. Jim. Alif. Ba. Ta. Tha. Jim. Alif. Ba. Ta. Tha. Jim. Guys, remember when we're repeating, don't just repeat. Try to give every letter its right while we're repeating. Now, make sure you're trying to articulate it from where the letter comes from. Ha. Not ha. Ha. Kha. Dal. Keep saying dal, not dal. 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 Ra. Ha. Kha. Dal. Dal. So what's the difference between dal and dal? Who remembers? Dal, dal. What's the difference? The one without a dot, where does that come from? The tip of the tongue's behind the two front teeth. How do I test it? Add it. Add it. What about the one with the dot? Where does that come from? The tip of the tongue is between the top and bottom teeth. How do I test it? Adh. Adh. So which one has a dot? I must say one. Alright? Ready? Dal. Does this have a dot without? Alright, what about this one? Dal. Dal. That one has a dot? Alright, alhamdulillah. Alright, next line. Za. Za. Sin. Sin. Oh, subhanallah. Afwan. Ra. Ra. And where did we say the ra comes from? Ra, ra, ra. Where does it come from? The tip of the tongue should be touching the palate and rolling a little bit. And we said the ra is a unique letter because sometimes it can be heavy or sometimes it can be light. When is it heavy and when is it light? It's heavy if it has a fatha or a dhamma. Ra, ru. Now when is it light? When it has a kasra. Ri, ri. You see how it's light? Now, next line. Za, sin, shin, sad, dad, za, sin, shin, sad, dad, not dad, dad. Where does the dad come from? Remember, the dad is a heavy, it's a hard letter. Where does it come from? They call the Arabic language the language of dad. Where does it come from? Left side of the tongue should be touching what? The left side of the top teeth. And the back of the tongue goes upwards, it's heavy. Al-dad. Ta. Ta. Dha. Now, do we remember the difference between now we're talking about the letter with the stick. There's two of them, right? One with a dot, one without. It's ta and dha, right? What's the difference between ta and dha? Who can tell me? Where does the one without a dot come from?
The top of the tongue is at
The tip of the tongue's behind the two front teeth. Test it. Not ta. How do I test it? Al-ta. Al-ta. This is the one without a dot, right? Where does it come from? Tip of the tongue, behind the two front teeth. Ta. And we kept saying ta, not ta. It's a ta, not ta. 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 Now the one with the dot, va. Va. That one's with the dot. The tip of the tongue is between the top and bottom teeth. Do we see the difference? So what's the difference between ta and dha? Very similar to dal and dhal, right? Naam. Ayn, ayn, ghayn, ghayn, fa, fa, ta, dha, ta, dha, ta, dha, ayn, ghayn, not qayn, ghayn, ayn, ghayn, tha, qaf, fa, qaf, kaf, 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 lam, lam. Remember, we kept saying lam, not lam. Lam, mim, mim, noon, noon, waw, ha, hamza, ya, ya. Who wants to read the first line? You want to read the first line? You have the book? تفضل. Naam, just the first line.
Alif, Ba, Ta, La, Jim.
Ahsant. Who wants to do the second line? تفضل.
ها خا دال ذال را.
Very good. But remember with the dal, we kept saying dal, dal, dal. Do we see that or no? We kept saying dal, not dal, dal. Naam, who wants to do the second line? Again. No, someone who didn't go yet. تفضل. They're all over there. تفضل.
ها ها
نخا خا خا. نعم.
دال
Not dal, dal. Good.
ذال
Remember, extend it, not thou. Thal. Yeah, has elongation in it.
را.
Good. Who wants to do the second line again? In the back, تفضل. Loud. No, no, ha.
ها خا دال ذال را.
أحسنت, أحسنت. Who wants to do the third line? تفضل.
زين سين شين صاد
Remember, صاد.
صاد
The dal, you give it a bounce. It's called the qalqala. صاد.
صاد
نعم.
داد
Not dod, bod. Bod. Very good. Who wants to do the third line again? In the middle, تفضل.
زا
Za,
صين
Now seen, seen, seen.
صين
نعم, it's light.
شين صاد ضاد
Very good. Who wants to do the third line again? تفضل.
زا سين شين صاد
Not sad, صاد. It's heavy letter. صاد.
ضاد
نعم. ضاد. أحسنت. Fourth line. Who wants to do the fourth line? نوح. تفضل نوح. Loud نوح. نعم.
Ta,
Not ta. Not ta. Ta. Say it again.
Ta, Ta,
Good.
Ta,
Ain.
Ain, Ain, Ta,
أحسنت, أحسنت. Who wants to do the next line? قاف. قاف. تفضل.
Qaf, Qaf,
Not kaf. 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 Not ka. Kaf. Now make it light. Naam. Next one.
Lam,
Good.
Mim,
Naam.
Noon.
Good. Last line. Who wants to do the last line? Someone who didn't go.
He didn't go.
تفضل. You didn't go yet? تفضل.
Wow. Kaf, Hamza, yeah, yeah.
Barakallahu feek. All right, brothers.
Hold on, what's the last?
Yeah. Both of them are yeah. So,
Yeah, it was the
nah, both of them, the last two are yeah. All right. So now we're finished with the letters. طيب. Now we're going to go on to the combined letters. We're done with the class, but for homework. For homework, first and foremost, review the alphabets. You have to memorize the alphabets. We're done with the letters. That's it. That's past tense. Now we're going forward. We're going to combine letters. Now for the combined letters, for homework, who has the blue book? No, this one. No, this one. No. So this green book. طيب. For homework is to finish the rest of the letters. So from page 12 to page 18. Page 12 to 18, finish the rest of the letters. If you didn't do it yet, do it from the beginning, from alif all the way to ya. Is that clear? If you don't have the book itself, you could download the PDF and write it on a paper. The most important thing is do the homework. You don't, alhamdulillah, if you have the book, that's good. But if you don't have the book, don't let the shaitan make that as an excuse. Do the homework. طيب? From alif all the way to ya. Write all of them. The second homework is page number 25 and 26. 25 and 26 in the Gateway to Arabic book. In this page, it has the letter in the beginning, middle, and end. You see that?
Yes.
So you have to write all of them. 25 and 26. The minimum is 1 time. If you could do it 3 times, that's better. Is that clear? Minimum is 1 time. Write down alif, middle, beginning, end. Ba, middle, beginning, end. All of them. Till ya. The whole alphabet. Now you're going to start practicing combining letters to formulate words. Is that clear? So what's homework number 1? Finish all the alphabets, alif to ya. 12, what was the page? 12 to 18. Homework number 2 is write down page 25 and 26. The letters alif, ba, alif all the way to ya. Beginning, middle, end. Is that clear? Minimum is 1. If you do 3, that's better. Homework number 3. Formulate 10 words. You hear me? Yes. Formulate 10 words using different letters. Is that clear? So for example, I'm going to random words. It doesn't have to be actual words. For example, I'm going to make up a word. I'm going to use alif for the first letter, fa the second letter, kaf the third letter, and ya the last letter. That's 1 word. I want you to formulate how many words? 10 is minimum. Is that clear? So now I want you guys to start what? Formulating words using the different letters. Is that clear? And if you guys need any help, put the question in the Telegram, the question and answer chat. And we'll answer all the questions there. طيب? Anyone have any questions about the homework? So what are the homeworks? Again, the next class is how long? It's next week. So you have an entire week to do it. طيب? So there's 4 homeworks. Number 1 is what? Finish all the alphabet. So alif to ya. If you don't have the book, then write it with the paper. Number 2 is what? Write the letters, beginning, middle, end. Minimum is 1 time. 3 times is recommended. Number 3 is what? Formulate 10 words. Naam. So that's 3, right? And number 4 is just memorize the alphabets. Naam? طيب. Another thing, before we end it, next week we're going to be doing lesson number 2. And my advice is to put a little bit of time every day to practice. Is that clear? It's not enough just to do Saturday and Sunday 1 hour. Every day, do even if it's like 10-20 minutes. Put some time to the side, practice these homeworks, and practice the blue book. It's a 10-week course. Look, 1 week is already done. You understand? So practice every single day. And inshallah, bi'idhnillah, by the end of these 10 weeks, bi'idhnillah, you'll be reading the Qur'an. Bi'idhnillah. Now.
These 10 words, they don't have to be real words.
No, the 10 words are not real words. Any words. Oh, okay. We're not saying real words. Use any, just combine different letters together, just to combine letters. Naam. It doesn't have to be real words. Oh, okay. Naam.
For those who don't have the book, how many times they gotta write the story?
Like 10 times. Naam. Whoever doesn't have the book, at least write down each letter 10 times. And submit the homeworks to the Google Classroom. We're going to be checking all of them. طيب? نعم. We'll stop here inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وجزاكم الله خيرا.